Seats, quickly please.
Always a buzz, always anticipation. Sold out tonight. Big ticket prices as well here at Rod Laver Arena.
Ready?
9-time champion to kick us off.
Love team.
Wally, I'm keen to know how much wind is there, because this afternoon's match, it was very calm.
No, Fitzy, it's funny, just as you said that, the wind has sprung up and it's at Rublev's back, so I suspect it's actually coming from the opposite direction, hitting the back of the stadium and coming down the court from Rublev's end as we speak.
Fold.
Well, I've done a couple of his earlier matches here, Rublev, at this Open, and one of the days was very windy. He didn't perform as well in the wind, I didn't think. When it was really sedate conditions, flat calm, he was better.
Team.
34th ace of the tournament for Novak. I'd like to see Rublev start this match a little further back, to be honest. I'd like to see him work the points early on. I'm not saying that that's going to be necessarily a way that he's going to ultimately win the match, but just to get himself into a quarterfinal. He's never been past this stage. He's lost all 6 quarterfinals that he's played previously. Novak early on will certainly serve a few into that forehand wing to keep his backhand open for Djokovic as the match goes through.
Cain, Djokovic.
Well, that was interesting. What was that look for from? That was from Rublev. Look,
but it's imperative that he does so. He looks. Does he look a little bit sort of, I don't know, negative in his body language early on? He looks a bit disconsolate to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just a serious nature.
Spectacular rally, and what I have to say, the win looks quite substantial.
Yeah, it was funny. Pretty much when Fitzy mentioned it, it just sprung up. So you kind of think a breeze coming up the bay has sort of hit the back of the stadium, and it's making a difference. You could notice there he was just clubbing the ball there, Rublev, and Novak seemed to have plenty of time, particularly that backhand slice, just to get behind it and guide it. Sort of wondering from that end that Rublev is at, you know, it's not as though he's about to employ a short slice or a drop shot necessarily, but could be effective down this end, the Rublev end.
Well, that's what he wants, and if he doesn't get a free point on the first serve, he would still like a lot of first serve returns to come back short, so he can use that forehand.
He wants to go nuclear. Look at that. Almost 10% more points won when he can go that big as well. Obviously, some of that related to the serve. But he's going to have to swing. He's going to have to take risk.
40-15.
That's the problem for me, is how he starts second serve points. Too often he's going to have to start it hitting his backhand. He almost looked like he tried to redirect there. He's going to go cross court about 80% of the time with that backhand when Novak fires it in there off that particular return. So Novak knows where the next shot is going to go more often than not. Can you believe it? Another Houdini moment for Djokovic.
And already it incorporates some... Well, it makes Rublev sort of react negatively here, because he should have put that away. But it's the defensive skills amongst everything else that Djokovic possesses that just makes you play another ball. And this is frustrating. You're up early in the game, you want to put it away, and now you've got to fight for your life again. Constant pressure.
This is when Novak kind of knows what's coming and knows what he wants to achieve before it even happens. Second serve in the backhand line, Rublev cross. Novak nudges one up through the middle of the court to get out of that exchange.
And I know we're early days, but even a game like this can leave a little scar. You know, Rublev should have been 1-1 on the board, a little bit of relief. If he goes down an early break, it just compounds this negative approach sometimes you find yourself in against this great player.
Can you two legends think of anybody that moved in a similar way to Novak when you guys were playing, with the flexibility that he has?
No.
No, I can't. My memory's failing me a little bit these days, Mark, but no. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I don't think anyone's ever been as flexible as this on a tennis court, have they? I don't know of a person that has been.
But it's one thing to be flexible, but to then power out of a full lunge, it's just incredible how he does it.
That's rare. And that's like gold if you're playing against Novak. That doesn't happen too often, that free point. Take advantage of it if you can.
Rublev. One game on.
He's not always been massively happy playing in sort of windy conditions, has he? Novak, 2012 at the US Open, he was in the middle of his match playing Ferrer, and obviously that got halted when the conditions got tough. He is not necessarily will be loving these. No one loves playing in the wind, to be fair. Might just be the one unknown that we hadn't picked coming into this that may help Rublev.
I think Rublev, you know, we're picking at straws a little bit, but he's got to use his backhand down the line too, I think, and take a risk on that ball. He relies heavily on his forehand, but if Djokovic is hanging a little bit wide to his backhand side, Rublev has to use his two-handed down the line. Take a bit of risk, see if he can hit a few winners there. And at the very least, open the court up a little bit.
30 love.
There's always this philosophy against Novak, you feel, with a lot of players, that they need to take his time away. But with his length on the ball, particularly as what he's been saying, the wind's coming from behind Novak's back, very difficult to stay up on the baseline and actually take it as early. I almost feel like you need to retreat a little bit to give yourself a little extra time. Well, that was a little concerning, if I'm going to be honest. After he finished his first serve, he definitely didn't look that comfortable on his leg, as we see Novak's team. And then he took an awfully long time to hit his second serve, and then looked uncomfortable after that as well. Well, he said there was no problems with the hamstring after his last match against Alex de Minaur. That is just amazing. Well, he's saying he got a little lucky. I think he
through his front leg and that hamstring when he serves. And there's a couple of moments there in between that first and the second. So definitely looks like a bit of discomfort, maybe a fraction of doubt. We'll find out. This is actually the end I'm keen to see how Rublev goes, because he doesn't have anywhere near the margin of Novak, and he just thrashes the ball, and with the wind at your back, that's not always easy.
Yeah, so Eduardo up on the right, Marco, his brother, front left.
For service. Rublev
who can get very hot. Won 5 titles in 2021, 23 matches in a row. match win streak last year in February and March as well, did Rublev.
He seems to be going to Rublev's forehand
30-15.
more than I would have normally thought. Not worrying about trying to hit it across to the backhand. He did on that occasion, but quite often when he's got a choice, he's going back to the Rublev forehand. Maybe he feels he's more dangerous, Andrey, when he backs away. And he probably is.
40-15.
Fitzy, I almost think it's a case of just hitting the ball back where it came from. Rublev is absolutely striping it with the wind at his back, so I think Novak's playing a little safe. Just hitting back through the line.
That's where I'd like to see him swing one out wide.
40-30.
Nice quick second serve just to keep Novak honest for sort of the juice points or potential break points on that side when he misses a first serve.
But he can go there, Rublev.
He can, he rarely does.
What a return of serve that was. And I'm not sure which was better, the first shot or the second shot, but that was a heavy kick serve from Rublev. Very good serve, and he had to stretch for it, Djokovic, but what a shot he hit off it to put Rublev on the defensive, and was forced to play the lower percentage forehand down the line, and he's good enough. I bet Rublev can't believe he lost that point in 2 hits.
Advantage Rublev.
Good solid serve there. 200 case from Rublev, fastest of the tournament, 211. He's lost that in 2 hits as well.
And on the outside of the line. Do you think he aims for the outside of the line?
I don't think he
Or do you think he aims like most of us, 2 meters inside the line? Well, not 2 meters. But it almost looks like he aims for the line, which is sort of mind-boggling.
Well, he's certainly trying to break the forehand down, isn't he? And great players are capable of doing that, aren't they? What mere mortals fear, those like Novak don't.
It's like having more time than most athletes and having more vision. And the line probably looks big to him. Gee, it looks small to me.
Well, he tried to put some extra depth on that second serve, but it was the same place it was going into the Novak backhand. And the double fault comes.
Djokovic leads.
Yeah, he doesn't usually offer up too many of those, Rublev.
Well, I'm not convinced that his body language is quite as positive as it normally would be, Andrey. He looks like he's, you know, well, not beaten at the start. Of course he's not, but he looks a little down to me.
Yeah, look, he's a bit like a cat on a hot tin roof. He's sort of muttering, and a couple of these points that Novak's turned around in his favour, he sort of can't believe it. Certainly not comfortable.
15.
Well, I think, you know, all of us, when you play someone that you actually know is better than you, it's a fairly daunting thought process. You've just got to try and stay with them as long as you can, and then maybe get an opportunity, or maybe they won't. They'll put in a bad game.
But I'll just go back to the fact that Rublev, he lost that game with the wind at his back, and I know he served a double and he got out in front of one forehand, but he's so fully committed to every shot, and sometimes with the breeze at your back, you just need a little more subtlety. Novak certainly got it.
And this is what we were talking about in terms of being able to sort of break down an opponent's strength The Rublev forehand occasionally has been coming up trumps off that return on the wide side, but Novak will happily take that occasional loss for the greater gain.
I like that play. Well, why not? You know, it's not a vicious second serve from Novak. It's a good one, but it's not big enough to stop Rublev, you think, attacking it at times, and that was an excellent backhand down the line to get Novak on the wrong foot.
Reminds me a lot of how Federer used to play David Ferrer as well. When you watch Novak take on a big forehand as well, Ferrer served the forehand. The return often comes in a little bit shorter. They miss more returns off their forehand side because they're going for more backhand, more stable. It always sounds a bit counterintuitive, but it's genius.
Cain.
And then you flip one out wide. And life is very pleasant between the lines for Novak Djokovic. 50% of the time he plays a major, he's in the final. I mean, that is an incredible strike rate. Nadal, 66 slams, 30 times in the final, not far behind. I mean, it's incredible to think.
Such a good rally from Novak, but what's interesting, you know, Novak's racket head speed changed 3 or 4 times over the course of that rally, you know. Lower ball, slightly slower, higher trajectory, bit of room to work with, he smacked it. And Rublev doesn't have that. He's got 1 year warp speed.
Yeah, it's at about 8,000 revs, isn't it? When you want to park the car, it's tough at 8,000 revs.
Yeah, and that's the only way you can go, isn't it? It's hard, harder, hardest.
Yep. Yep. And as good as he is at that one facet of his game, there's no doubt that, you know, versatility. I mean, Novak can match him there, and then he's got all these other options. But as they say, he's not on his Pat Malone. He's not on his own when it comes to... thought as an Anglo-Saxon you might enjoy that.
Me too.
He's not the only guy that has trouble with his stuff. So does everybody else. But he looks a bit disconsolate to me, you know.
Fernando Vicente, his long-time coach there, good player in his own right. Carlo Blanco, an even better player than Fernando Vicente, of course, works with Cosmos, looking after Rublev these days. Andre's dad's still here, actually. He was here early in the week, of course. Former boxer, restaurant manager. Mum, of course, a coach.
His first serve has been good this tournament. You've got to give him that. Even when the wind was blowing in the third round, he served well.
Every single point. Every single point. I'm looking at it.
Thank you.
His ability to dissect the singles line with those kind of three-quarter length balls off both sides proves so problematic for his opponents. And again, good use of the wind here from Novak. He's definitely not hitting the ball as hard from this end. He's using the wind.
Oh, Wally would be happy. Take a bit off it. Use a bit of guile.
Advantage, Djokovic. Juice. Advantage, Djokovic. Juice.
He's got to capitalise on that. Rublev, who's having a long conversation up there with his coach at the moment. Early doors to be going to plan B, 31 minutes in.
He doesn't quite seem locked in to me, though, Rublev. He's not hustling, I don't feel like he normally does. Maybe I'm wrong, Wally. I'm keen to hear what you think after this game, maybe.
I mean, maybe the match against Rinus just taken that much out of him emotionally that he's a bit flat here at the start.
Juice. Advantage, Djokovic.
What accuracy there.
Magnificent.
He hits the ball into a small area better than anyone that's ever played, I think.
Djokovic leads by 5 games to 1.
I mean, how good was that shot? And the thing about the great players as well is their discipline. They can hit a winner off that. He could have hit that 160 Ks if he wanted to, but he knew the best way and his greater percentage way of winning that point was to do what he did.
He didn't have to over-risk. But the ability to hit into a small space is it's quite enlightening, really.
Thank you. Players are ready.
It's like a surgeon watching him use the scalpel. although I've never seen that happen.
15 love.
Thoughts, Wally?
Well, I'll keep going back to a guy playing with a breeze at his back, and just the skill set that he has to shape the racket head around the ball to get a result. Rublev doesn't have it.
Oh, it's a shame he finished in the net, because that was an incredible couple of shots from Novak.
It was. Yep.
15 all.
I don't blame Rublev for that. I mean, honestly, couldn't have hit a better return. And he's got the guy at the net one shot later, just ready to hit a little drop shot.
He got a little bit cute there, didn't he? He took it a bit easy, really, in the end, I think, Novak. Gee. Am I allowed to stand up here and start applauding or not?
30-15.
I mean, if you know what you're looking at here and you see this accuracy, it boggles my mind how he can do that. And Rublev is showing that with his reaction afterwards. How's that possible, he's thinking? Oh, don't tell me. Was that a miss-hit?
30 all.
He meant to do it, Fitzy.
No, I haven't seen one since last year from him. He meant to do it, did Wally say, yeah.
He's just not letting him hit forehands out of the backhand side, is he?
30-14.
And of course, part of that is strategy is allowed to happen because of his movement into his backhand side and how aggressive he can be on his two-hander cross court. First break point for Rublev.
Juice.
Only been broken 3 times in the tournament, Novak.
Advantage, Rublev. Juice.
Actually quite good drill that, to land on your one leg and hold your balance. You know, you put the ball toss in the right place.
I think, in the end.
Well, he deserved it for his anticipation.
But see, Andrey there didn't hit the smash accurately. He hit it hard.
Advantage, Djokovic.
And it's not enough. You've got to hit with direction here. He just hammers it as hard as he can, but he hit it straight to Djokovic. And that last pass just got a little bit of luck, but hey, when you're that good, you make your own.
Thank you.
Set point.
Game in first sets, Djokovic.
40 minutes it took for Djokovic once
By
again
16
to
to 1.
underline how difficult.
love.
First serve is going to be absolutely vital here for Rublev tonight. The differential
love.
between the two is substantial. He's got one of the biggest differences in pace of average first serve compared to his second. And that's one of the quickest serves that he's hit, not just tonight, but in the tournament. 2:11, as I say, top speed. That one coming in at 2:09. This is a clean start potentially here.
Yeah. 14-15. Cain, Rublev.
Great start, no miss first serve. Once at the Open, once here in 2021. Closest he came to getting through to semis course against Marin Cilic at Roland Garros last year. Lost 7-6 in the final set.
Well, if he could get up a break for something different, it might inject him with some adrenaline. Well, he usually plays with adrenaline because he hits the ball so hard, but it might inject him with some more enthusiasm and positivity just to try and get a couple of games ahead. And that depth helps. It's got to be the wind, Wally.
Yeah, definitely. There was a slight miss hit from Rublev, but it just shows you, normally he'd hit that at warp speed, but the slight miss hit in the slower, lower ball paid dividends. Novak was doing a pretty good job up until that point, but that final forehand just didn't carry at all. Rublev needs to practice with Adrian Manarino and just grab about 5% of what he's got and just incorporate it into his game. Yeah. But Novak's antsy too. He's not enjoying the wind. I mean, it's not that bad, to be honest, for Australia, but he's not enjoying it.
Sometimes I think his ball toss, if there's a tiny, tiny error, it says his ball toss seems to get a bit low, but then he makes it when you least expect. But with the wind blowing behind his back, it's probably dropping on him. Probably dropping a bit lower than normal, is it?
Well, I think
40-30.
Yep, lower, but he throws it a little too far out in front. The wind's just carrying it out in front of him, and then, of course, he's got to almost bend from the waist as opposed to staying up tall through contact.
Well, there's the backhand down the line, and it gives him a chance to open up the court.
Juice.
For that big forehand, this one.
He's played in some rough semi-finals, hasn't he, over the years at Grand Slams. That one I said about in 2012 against Ferreira at the US Open in the semis, which they actually halted because they thought the hurricane was coming. Of course, team, they were ridiculous conditions in 2019 that he played the Austrian in. What a brilliant serve that is, and again, something that he's incorporated into his game over the years as well.
Cain, Djokovic.
There's another big second serve at 176 coming in from Novak. And that's something that Rublev doesn't do. I felt before this match it was going to be a battle of the second serves, and Novak's going to win that hands down. He's winning currently at the moment. A nice 67% of the points in this second set so far. Up winning this particular point.
But look at the difference there. When Rublev's in trouble, he hits it at warp speed, so he barely gives himself any time to get back in the point. When Novak was in trouble there, he just floated it slow and deep, and then he's right where he wants to be.
It's a seriously good one-dimensional game, isn't it? Well, let me say two-dimensional. But it doesn't have the same dimensions that the opposition has. Good enough to be sixth in the world at the moment, though, Petch.
Yeah.
15-13.
But while Novak's around, it won't be good enough to be won.
Correct. That's his favourite serve, I think, and he's used that to great value in this tournament so far. It saved him a few times in that quarter-final and, excuse me, in the round of 16.
Well, a little more body on the serve there. Novak couldn't fade the forehand, and it allowed Rublev to get his forehand into play. Look at this. This is what Novak does to so many players out there. I know he's angry and he's shouting his box right now, but look at that. Tournament so far, Rublev, first shot after his second serve, over 50%. Tonight, he is down at barely over 20% that he gets to use his favourite shot. That's a massive hole for Rublev. Not always the best seat in the house, that.
No. No, you can have that one.
$15.
191.
And I think he goes for that second serve more and more too, doesn't he? I mean, or is it my imagination? He seems to hit that as a first serve much more now than, I don't know, several years ago.
Yeah, 3 years he's been basically honing that particular skill. His fastest second serve of the tournament, 196.
Led for service.
Actually doesn't often go as quick down the tee with that second serve on the due side. It's normally out wide with the slice.
The versatility of his skill sets, Wally.
We talked about it last night when Tsitsipas was playing, you know, the best players are the best defenders. I was actually quite happy there because Rublev played the high lob with a modicum of restraint. But then he couldn't help himself on the next one.
Conditions are very interesting in terms of backhands played. That was just the 6th backhand that Novak's played from the end that he's at right now, compared to 33 at the other end. Obviously working harder against the wind to get his forehand into play so that he can drive the ball back and not allow Rublev too much time on the ball. Quite happy to use that slice up the other end and just kind of keep the ball low and float it on the wind.
Cain, Djokovic.
Decent half volley.
Extraordinary shot that was.
It was a full-blooded drive. Incredible.
Yeah, no normal player can hit that.
And again, if you know Rublev's patterns, you know you can kind of cover the cross court, but to come up with that.
What do you call that shot, by the way? It wasn't a half volley. It wasn't a full backhand drive, was it? Maybe it was a hybrid of everything.
And guys, we've just been talking, I mean, Petch, you just said it. Novak's been honing that skill on building pace on that second serve and going for it. And, you know, you think about Rafa and all the little adjustments he's made over the course of his career to become better. And I think it's not being critical of Andrey Rublev. He's still young, you know, there's still a lot of tennis left ahead of him, but it's just suggesting that maybe there's got to be some plan in his practice to evolve, to work on things.
To get better. And I think that's the journey, isn't it? You know, most champions, and he is one, Rublev, but most champions are always striving to become better.
How good was that return?
Yeah. And I think you're right, Wally. Andrey can get better if he shows a bit more versatility, and imagine then what he'd be like.
Let's for service.
But he's playing the most evolved player around at the moment.
Love 14.
And oh, so quickly and easily.
But, you know, even with the wind at your back, just throw a real high, three-quarter heavy first serve in, just for a change-up, so you can get it up and over Novak's shoulder. Use the breeze.
15-14.
Well, he shuffled a little more coal on the bonfire in the previous returning game against Rublev, and now he finds himself with 2 break points. Just too good at the end of the day. Djokovic out.
Love 15.
Rublev will need to try and dig deep here and try and rebound relatively quickly. Another arm wrestle that Novak comes out on top.
Hitting all.
The wind playing havoc.
Yeah, I mean, that actually drifted forward, didn't it? That was incredible how much that got hold of the ball there that made that shot difficult. But what an incredible rally by both these two players in these conditions right now.
That's also the wind pushing that ball toss forward. That's why he looks so awkward there at the end.
It's one of those little moments in the match where you'd like to see Rublev be a little braver with his direction on the return there. 90% of the time he's going to go cross-court with that backhand return, and Novak's waiting. Had he gone down the line, who knows? Maybe he could have pushed through and got a couple of break points. Please. But Novak's so astute and so determined right now to consolidate the break he's just gained.
Just letting the wind get to him a little bit. It's annoying. It's tough playing in the wind. You've got to treat it as your friend, not your enemy.
It's actually not that bad, Fitzy. Like,
right.
It's not gusty.
So he's a little antsy.
Yeah, it's fairly consistent. And you're dead right about the ball toss. He's throwing it about a foot too far in front. He just lacks the ability then to cover it with any sort of spin. Hits it with a fairly flat racket face, losing his margin. Just needs to keep it up in front of his eyes, stay tall.
Advantage, Rublev.
Not the first time in his career we've seen those acrobatics out of a backhand.
No, it's like a little jig, isn't it?
Thank you.
It's like line dancing.
I'll take your word for it.
Sort of.
It's hypnotic watching him move on a tennis court, isn't it? Rublev has thrown everything at him. That was some of the finest hitting of the evening from Rublev, and he finds himself back at deuce. Incredible.
I'm enjoying this this competitive surge from Rublev. It's good to watch. He's lifted his game.
Thank you.
He's hitting the ball so positively.
Players are ready. Thank you. Please.
Trying to take the great man on.
Would be 20 consecutive wins here at the Australian Open if he beats Rublev today.
That time was already minus 10 seconds. Yes, only exceptions. Amazing.
He is a capricious character, no question about that, Rublev.
Djokovic.
He loiters on the edge of the internal volcano pretty much every single time he steps onto a tennis court. Understandably frustrated. Desperate to get back on level terms.
Djokovic.
And after the defiance, a bit of subtlety, and Novak moves ahead 4-2.
And there it is, pitch. Subtlety, 1-4-8. Toss the ball up with the wind at your back. It jumps up, it's a different look. And I haven't seen that once from Rublev tonight.
On a moody evening here, it's a moody Rublev. It's 21 degrees. The wind has gone up about 5k since we started this match out here.
Please.
Djokovic adapting.
15 love.
Brutal efficiency is the name of the game for Rublev.
I'm enjoying this though. He at least he's laying it on the line as much as he can, isn't he? But then it's a fine line.
30-15.
Whether you actually step over it with the way you hit the ball.
I wonder what Cain and Rod are thinking, sitting in the front row, just watching the arm speed of Rublev and the power.
Notice while he's on first name terms with Cain and Rod, he pretends so. There they are. Gotta love them, eh?
Well, Fitzy, normally I'd say Muscles and Rocket, but then I'd know you wouldn't know which one I was talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we're always name dropping when we're telling people we know them. But Pedge, we actually do. How good's that?
There's that play again. Second serve, straight in there. Backhand return, fired into the Rublev backhand. And he just can't extricate himself from that situation often enough. He has just won 4 out of 17 points on his second serve tonight, Rublev.
But you can understand the frustration, and at least he's into it. At least he's giving it everything he's got.
15 love.
And at the end of the day, look at the scoreline. Incredible.
Yeah. 30 love.
Yeah, and the problem when you get that frustrated and it boils over into that sort of situation, the changeover isn't probably enough to get yourself back to neutral and engaged again.
$30-15.
Again, that serve into the forehand side.
40-15.
For many, they would steer clear of Rublev's forehand. Not for Novak. He's angled the majority of his attack into it, and it's worked out very nicely. A couple of set points for a 2-sets-to-love lead. Rublev dropping the hammer.
40-30.
That may be the hardest a forehand has ever been hit.
Thank you.
I think James Blake still takes that record, doesn't he? Off the return, 125 miles an hour or something.
That was 126.
Good eye test. He's restocked the ammo. Good one.
Juice.
He's upgraded it as well.
Let's second service.
We've seen plan B.
Advantage, Rublev.
Just go harder.
I thought it was the same as plan A.
No, plan B is go harder than plan A, which is awfully hard.
You know,
Thank you.
Sometimes he's a funny guy, Wally.
Let's first service.
Interesting. Novak serving and volleying on that particular break point, yet to be broken tonight, of course. How well has he played the break points, though? He's played some of his best tennis at those moments.
Juice.
I think the only way to beat him is to hit it as hard as Andrey's hitting it and hit the lines with it. That should be easy enough.
Advantage, Djokovic. Thank you.
Third set point.
Juice.
Again, we talk about being flexible for Andrey. He's creating moments here, but I just wonder whether if he was able to go a little deeper, a little bit wider to the right. Novak serving at over 60% of the first serves out wide to that forehand side and rushing him into that wing. And that's where he went again.
Djokovic.
Well, he's just a ball of frustration, isn't he? You got to feel for him. They say he's a great kid.
That he is. He's a great kid with a great forehand.
And now he's working on plan C. Because this, you can't hit this any better. Just inside the line at warp 10.
Please.
Well, that's an exaggeration. Warp 2 maybe.
advantage, Djokovic. Thank you.
Symbolic of the evening so far. The Serb has been one shot better consistently.
Second sets.
And good judgment. Lands Novak 2 sets to love up in the quarterfinals of the Australian Open.
2 sets now. Thank you. Please.
We all feel the same way, Wally.
Love.
Fourth most match wins on tour for Rublev last year. Second best record on hard courts behind Felix Auger-Aliassime. He won 45 matches and 4 titles. Andrey winning 3 titles on hard, 37 matches.
To go against him.
Lucky and great, irresistible combination.
Well, if you're a lesser ranked player and the guy down the other end is normally too good for you, you need things to go your way.
That has just been sent back and delivered with perfection, hasn't it?
Well, his depth is incomparable to me. You know, Jimmy Connors back in the day used to hit the ball deep. That was a difficult ball to play against, but this is just so deep consistently, it's frightening.
Wait, please.
Save from Rublev. Well, it looked like checkmate, but not to be this time for Rublev.
Thank you.
But for how long? Great second serve. Surprising that Novak wasn't waiting for that one coming out there. It was slower, it was higher, and maybe there's something in there for Rublev. Again, another terrific exchange, full of vigor and variety. But sadly for Rublev, another one that goes Djokovic's way, and more pressure early on here in the third. And he's been here before.
Cain, Djokovic. New balls, please.
You've got to go out on the court and practice them, get coach them.
Well, you saw the graphics there, guys. He's not even as good in hitting his backhand to good depth. So you talk about the finer details that he needs to do, the subtleties, but we're talking about the bread and butter. And Novak's, you know, almost 20, 50% better at keeping his backhand to a better length. Well, he's just touched the line there.
Novak thought it was out, but it must have touched it. But he's hit a couple of high forehand volleys, and they haven't looked competent enough. So that's, maybe 3 or 4 balls in a match. Go out and practice that one. There has to be. Hey, it's okay for us to say he's ranked higher than any of us were, but to get better, I think he's got to have a bit more versatility. I agree with Wally. And you can't get it unless you practice it.
30.
That's an amazing serve, isn't it?
Yeah. He is playing against a phenomenon, and every time we commentate one of Novak's matches, we run out of superlatives. So we're not trying to criticise anyone. We're just saying that I think Andrey could be better if he had more versatility. He hits the same ball over and over a lot of the time, and he hits it awfully well, but what if it comes back?
And again there, the differential between the two. Novak, who's dropped one in, as we saw earlier in the match, at 191 Ks on his second serve. That one coming in at 176.
Thank you.
Fastest second serve that Rublev's hit tonight, 159. Differential between his quickest and slowest, not that great.
Djokovic.
And the other area that's obviously hugely different is in terms of first serves as well, not just in terms of the aces
Djokovic
tonight, with
leads
just
by
1
2
for
games
Rublev and 10 for Novak, but the unreturned serves, 45% for Djokovic, just 19% for Rublev. It's going to make your life a lot easier.
Players are ready. Thank you.
I get the feeling this is going to be over quickly now, Wally. I think he's thrown everything he possibly can in his repertoire and in his mindset. It hasn't worked so far, really, and this could disappear quickly if into the distance if he's not careful.
Thirty.
Second ace of the night, and the crowd desperate for Rublev to keep fighting, and he is responding. Goodness me.
30-14.
How has he got that? Rublev was inside the baseline expecting something short. He should have known better.
Juice. Let for service. Advantage Rublev. Please.
Done very well there. Novak just limped a little bit at the end of that.
US Open. Please. Love.
Well, despite the scoreline, and you said it, you know, all Andrey can do now is just hang around, just do his absolute best to hang on to his serve, and you just never know in tennis. Just got to fight.
You can have a fair idea.
Fastest serve of the night from Novak at 2:04, quickly followed by a 2:01. Throwing his arm at the ball here.
Dirty love. Dirty 15.
Well, again, we've harped on about it, but it is an interesting feature of the match, just the quality of the second serve from Novak. Look at what he's given him. Look at this differential. Rublev with almost the same in terms of slowest, but much quicker average from Novak, and a much quicker average tonight from Novak than in his previous rounds, which just again shows you what he's thinking, and then huge speed on the fastest. And it just keeps an opponent off balance, doesn't it? I mean, you can't cheat in to take the slower serve because you're worried about something coming at 190, whereas Novak isn't worried, and he's also not really worried about placement as well on the second serve.
Well, if he's confident enough not to miss it, then it's a no-lose situation for him.
But how many players could execute that?
Yeah.
How many players can hit a 191 second serve at his height?
Ben Shelton.
15 love.
And one, it was born data. I mean, at the end of the day, Novak looked at his data a number of years ago and realized that the kicker out wide on the ad side, he was losing more points than he was almost winning with it. And so that's why he changed it. And you look at Rublev's patterns, and we highlighted them before the match even started tonight on his second serve, and you kind of knew it was a battle that Novak would win if he didn't change it up, and he hasn't yet. It's a big lesson for him to take away from tonight.
But Petch, you're sort of assuming that for someone to change what they do, that they are preparing themselves for anything on the practice court. And I'm just not sure Rublev is.
Nobody does that better, that sequence of shots. Nobody.
40-30.
Rublev doing his best to try and contain Djokovic here. And he does so for a second game in this third set. And it's a long, hard trudge towards the chair. He's just one of 5 players in the Open era, Novak, with 300+ weeks as the world #1 ranked player. Steffi Graf, Serena Williams, Martina Navratilova, and Roger Federer. Getting ever closer to Graf's record of 377 weeks as world #1 as well. Currently sitting at 373 as the great Serb. That's the serve I think he's been burnt with too often tonight. And again, we talk about flexibility, being pliable with your thought process. Go back deep, move out to the right, take that serve away, force Novak to hit the tee serve. He probably will, but you can't keep getting beaten with that serve out wide. He's picked up just 11 points out of 49 against the first serve of Novak tonight.
I
thought you were a bit slow on the movement there, Wally. Left arm went out. You were a long way away from it.
Yeah, I was just anticipating a deflection off the camera stand there. I see things 3 steps ahead, Petch.
A bit like the man that's winning this match at the moment.
Yes. I think he's put himself in the same category.
Is the dagger.
Djokovic leads by 4 games to 2.
Having said that, the pickup on the backhand side from the Rublev forehand was extraordinary.
Thank you. 15.
It's his favourite, I think.
As we've been saying, looking for his 26th consecutive win here at the Australian Open. Would tie his former coach, Andrey Rublev.
Wonderful smash. And as Wally said, all he can do, all he can possibly do is keep trying to accumulate as many points as possible. What else can a man do? And this smash is rather impressive. From way back deep, it was high, and he hammered that.
Cain.
Well done, Andre.
That's what they want to see. Heart, desire, and passion.
Djokovic
and he brings that in
full
abundance, does Rublev. Has he got enough game, though, to turn things around?
Boys, as an aside, and slightly off topic, but does Rublev have any resemblance to that British actor Damian Lewis? Has that ever been discussed?
I can see that. I'll give you that one.
Okay. Just sitting opposite him here, I'm just sort of thinking there's a little bit of Damian Lewis about him.
That was an aside. I like that. Where are we going next?
You never know with Wally.
I've heard that about him. This one looks as though it's going this man's way.
It's like an inevitable feeling surrounding everybody here, isn't it? Including the players. Inevitability.
Well, there's been no greater Mr. Sunday in Melbourne than Novak Djokovic. He will, in a couple of games perhaps, certainly be back here on Friday to take on Tommy Paul. Just got a little bit of tidying up to do here. He's done the majority of the work.
Thank you. Ready for play.
That young kid may have had his hands up, but this man has been hands down the best player out here. And he looks as though he's timing his run to perfection as well at this Grand Slam. That was nice.
Nonchalant. Yeah. Pretty confident too.
And Fitzy, you're right. Use that word nonchalant. Novak's. This is not taking anything out of Novak, this match. It's amazing how within himself he is.
He's been appropriately aggressive, hasn't he, all the way through. said it the other night, Wally, as well. There's so much stillness through the motion of his shots as well.
But you talk about data informing you. You know, there was that wide serve again, Petch. I mean, that's just been... It's been a little too easy for Novak, hasn't it?
Correct. And if Rublev had a good block forehand, you wouldn't mind him staying there, but he doesn't.
Well,
he went back to the kick serve wide, lost the point. You'll probably see 195 next time. Even small nuances like that, Wally. I mean, Andrey, he moves forward and he rolls the ball across court where he's got no protection for the next shot. I mean, they're small things, but it seems like he could learn more and be better to me. But he's playing against the best.
Yeah, and I'm just watching that drop shot. And the moment it comes off his racket, I'm thinking, that's
Ready
perfect.
for play.
And it was.
Thank you.
That was what? Sorry?
Perfect.
Yep.
When you see a shot like that, you actually know he's playing within himself, which is a really scary thought.
Thank you.
One last throw of the dice.
Players are ready. Quiet, please. Love.
It's like shelling peas, isn't it?
It's for service.
That's an interesting reaction as well, isn't it? Because he obviously feels as though he hasn't hit that serve particularly well tonight.
Yeah, with the wind. Yeah. With the wind, with the ball dropping sort of on top of his head or in front of him, too low, not being able to get over the high part of the net. It's frustrated him.
Please, the players are here for you. Please respect them. Thank you.
Nice turn of phrase there from James. Second serve there, you can see Rublev, who loves to run around a second serve to his forehand, just isn't able to because of the class, the quality, the precision.
Thank you.
The execution of a game plan on full display tonight.
Already.
3 match points.
Djokovic. 3 sets to love. 6-1, 6-2, 6-4.
Novak through to the last 4, and you won't find too many here in Melbourne who don't believe Novak won't be the last man standing come Sunday.